All right, so taking a look here at these matchups from last week, but who needs it? Man, got to hold it out of luck and beat them. So that's pretty awesome for me. I mean, I really didn't think my team was going to be very good. And it's already proven so far, though. The two teams that I thought were going to be the worst are two of the top three points for scorers so far in the league. So I just had a bad handle on that, obviously. Oh, look, my other video is finished processing. Pretty exciting for me. Not super exciting for Richard, who just lost Barkley, and a lot of people are optimistic that Barkley's going to be back really soon. We'll see if that proves to be the case. I would be selling my Barkley if I had him. In fact, the only league I had him in, I did sell him. Yeah, so interesting, though. Situation here. We had Connor doing a lot better than he'd be doing in weeks past. And we had Kirk is in a situation now. I'm not sure if Kirk is actually hurt. I thought he was not hurt, but I think he may actually be hurt now. Eckler going off, but who knows if that's going to continue now. Melvin Gordon's back. So should be interesting here going forward. We had some bad defenses in this matchup, but Fun's Fun was able to get a hold of it there at the end, going to 4-0. 2 games ahead in that division over Money Schmakers, who also won. Money Schmakers just barely edging past Dylan Panthers. They had a chance to win this one. They had Daniel Jones in instead of Jared Goff. Jared Goff would have done it for them. They've been rolling with Goff all season, but they went ahead and benched him here. I probably would have done the same thing, but that's how fantasy is. You never know. Got a lot more points than they were expecting from Samuels, but it wasn't enough. And they got a ton from Chubb. But the rest of their team's pedestrian performance really kind of did them in. And they lost, at a few positions by a few points, and sometimes that'll hurt you. Now, this was a week that kind of Dylan Panthers, I think, would have expected to lose multiple players on bye, right? You've got Kittle on bye, and you've got Bell on bye, and those are two of their biggest point scorers. So that's one thing. All right, let's go on to take a look at the next one here. We've got Elementary, My Dear Watson, finally with a victory. Now, this one, I don't think he thought he was going to win this one. Juju did not get any points, basically, in that last game. 1 point against Cincy. Who was predicting that? Nobody. So look at these QBs in this game, 11 and 8 points, super rough. Watson's getting the win. Watson's moving up in that division. Watson's got the most points in that division. I'm thinking they're going to be moving up, especially with Barkley out, hurting out of luck, and then, just the performance of Dylan Panthers. I mean, My Dear Watson is not even behind Dylan Panthers anymore in the division. Papa Giorgio with kind of a tough loss here. I'm sure he expected to win. Juju going into the last game of the week in that situation. If he'd started Landry instead of, I think, any of his wide receivers, he would have got the win easily. But not wanting to start Landry. I started Ridley too. Really hasn't been amazing. All right, let's take a look at this next one here. This is another team I thought would not be very good this season. Can't spell team without tight end. Well, I was just wrong. They've scored the third most, I think, points for in the league, and they're doing well. So just wrong about them. Jordan Howard going off this week for 28 points. I don't know how often you're going to be able to count on that, but pretty powerful. Mahomes with his worst week so far. Ravens defense for -1. Patriots 23. And that actually dominated this matchup here. This difference at defense here was one of the things that decided this, and then also the fact that Howard got 28 fantasy points, pretty powerful. All right, well, we're going to go on beyond that one. This was an interesting situation here. This is going to take Can't Spell Team Without a Tight End to 2-2, and it's going to take Bizarro Stormy to 2-2 as well. This team right here, a team with no name, a team who has no name, moving into a little bit more commanding position in that division with, I think, a 2-2 team and a 1-3 type team behind her. She looks like one of the better teams in the league, and she hasn't had the injuries or the disappointment that the Stable of Axe divisions dealt with their two really strong teams, which really I think John's team looks like the best team in that division from here. Like from me, for projecting the next several weeks, I feel like they have the best chance. So, but here we go. This is pretty interesting. We've got Baker Mayfield finally looking better in the game. Maybe he'll put up some better fantasy point totals next week, but he looked better in the game. And we got Melvin Gordon coming back, so we could see some interesting improvement for SoFlo Ragatrons from there. Here we had whatever happened to Michael Vick. Started Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott was just awful this week, and that killed him basically. I guess he had some other weakness too with Dorsett in for 1 point. And when you score the most at tight end on your team, and your tight end's often Hooper, you probably lost. So, but let's see. Let's say he starts Rivers. Does he get there? I don't think he quite gets there. Yeah, it's not going to quite do it if he starts Rivers. really probably hurt him that Hilton was out, because if he had Hilton in there, he probably would have started him, and then that would have probably been decent. I don't really know who this joker is. I think it's Deshaun Hamilton, but maybe it's not that. Maybe he's got some other name. But you could have got a couple points from him, but not too exciting really. Alrighty. We are going to take a look at the divisions. And here they are. We've got Out of Luck still leading the Stable of Axe division, 3-1. We got Elementary My Dear Watson, 1-3, and Dylan Panthers, 1-3. But you can see Elementary My Dear Watson, actually he fell there. He fell. He doesn't have the most points in his league anymore, just barely. Out of Luck has more. So, okay, all right. Oh, and actually, Dylan Panthers coming up with the most. This is some nonsense here. Quite a change there as Watson wins, but falls behind on the points for. This could be interesting here. I'm not sure who's going to win this division. I think it's pretty up in the air right now, as Dylan Panthers was the highest expected team, and then Out of Luck also a solid contender, but lost Barkley. Elementary My Dear Watson, just doing the best out of the first 2 weeks, and then the first 3 weeks really, and then this week not doing quite as well, but getting the win. So that's valuable. They needed to get some wins, and moving up one position on the division this week. Fun's fun, but who needs it? That's me. Just excited about how my team's been doing so far, but man, not expecting really that to continue, especially with the players that I've been riding to do this have been Lamar Jackson and Austin Eckler. I would expect that especially Eckler, is going to move back a little bit, but also Jackson. I just don't think he's going to be as powerful as he's been. Last week he would have been bad, but he got that garbage time touchdown. Money Schmakers getting it done this week. Papa Giorgio was not able to get it done, though, and so he's fallen to 3 games behind in the division. Richter Rocket, 3-1 this week, and can't spell team without tight end. Look at that healthy points for total, 413. That's the third highest in the league. And I was just wrong about them. Like I said, I think they're moving up, and we should be. This division is going to be interesting because I think some of SoFlo's pieces are coming together now at this stage with Melvin Gordon coming back, and then also with Baker finally getting right. I would think in that last game, and then we'll see how he is this next game. This division's up for grabs, really. None of these guys have been doing that crazy well comparatively. Can't spell team, though. 413 is a lot of points, and we'll see. We'll see what happens from here. This is a close division to watch. Team has no name here. Kind of a certain dominance a little bit with the win this week, but Bizarro Stormy's still very good as well. Even though he didn't get the win this week, still looks like a good team in the division. And really, whatever happened to Michael Vick does too. He just had a bad week because of Dak Prescott mostly. So if Prescott can return to his previous ways, he'll look good again. So we'll have to see what happens this coming week. I'm not going to do a preview of the matchups this week. Actually, what the hell? Let's do it. All right, so let's take a look at these guys real quick. We got Fun's Fun, but Who Needs It, and Elementary My Dear Watson. Let's take a look here at our matchup. This should be interesting. It's probably going to be a close one. I don't even know who to like better at running back here. I think I probably like his better at running back. I think he's probably better at QB as well. Hopefully I'll be able to beat him at wide receiver. I don't think Adams is going to play, so he'll probably get somebody else in there instead of Adams. Let's see who he's going to throw in there. Maybe Mike Williams if he's back. I don't know if he's healthy, but if he is, he'll probably be playing. So yeah, if I get the word that Singletary is good to go, full go, then I might bench one of these guys for him. But I may just play Eckler again until I see that he's not awesome in a game. Alrighty, let's take a look at the next one. We've got Dylan Panthers against Papa Giorgio. Dylan Panthers, it says he's going to lose this one, but I don't think he's set his lineup this week yet. Oh, maybe he has. No, he hasn't. So he hasn't fixed his lineup to put Bell back and Kittle back. So who knows what's going to happen in this one. But I would expect him, Dylan Panthers to start to dominate here a little bit. He's got much better players than most of the other teams in the league. But, Kansas City's been bad against running backs. Maybe Mack will put up a bunch of points. And I wouldn't think Gallman's going to be very good this week against Minnesota. And I don't know who else he's going to be able to start, really. I mean, he's got some deplorable running backs on this team. Wow. All right, so anyways, going forward, this should be an interesting one here. One of these teams has got to get a win so they can move to 2-3. They both could really use it. Neither one of them wants to fall to 1-4. All right, so we got Out of Luck against Money Schmakers. They're both going to be wanting to win this one pretty bad. Out of Luck needs to prevent a free fall while he doesn't have Barkley, and Money Schmakers, would really want to get the win, so they got a shot at a wild card or maybe being able to eventually topple Fun's Fun, but who needs it in this in my division there, which I think he totally could. I think his team's been the best team in the division since the beginning of the season, and we'll see if he will he'll rebound and get back to where he should be. Yep, so this should be an interesting. And Kerryon Johnson's on bye, so that's going to make it. The doors are going to be open a little bit there, so he'll have a chance. So let's take a look at SoFlo versus Bizarro Stormy. All right, we got pretty interesting situation here. He's going to have to get Williams out of that lineup. We'll see if Gordon's popping in there. Call that 9 more. I think it might be a little bit more than that, really, but we'll see. And we got Mahomes going up against Mayfield. We got the what should be Melvin Gordon and David Montgomery up against Ingram and Elliott. Got to like the Ingram and Elliott side there. Galladay is out this week, so he'll probably be throwing in. He's got a few wide receivers he could try with Allen Robinson or Alshon Jeffrey. His roster's pretty good. Bizarro Stormy's got a good roster. All right, let's take a look at Richter Rocket and a team has no name. This is going to be an important matchup for both of them. They're both 3-1, leading their divisions, and they both have a team right on their heels in the division, so they're going to both want to win this one pretty badly. We got Rodgers against Wilson. That should be interesting. NFL.com likes him at the same point total there. David Johnson McCaffrey against Freeman Gurley. That's not a horrible matchup. Those are both all good startable running backs there. Gurley's looks like he's coming into his own a little bit. He was not great to start the season. Marvin Jones on a bye for team has no name, so I'm guessing she'll be starting Diggs there. And Walker and Olsen, man, these are pretty tight matchups here. Interesting. This is gonna be a close, and this is probably gonna be one of the best matchups of the week. All right, whatever happened to Michael Vick and Can't Spell team without tight end? Both these teams could really use this one. So whatever happened to Michael Vick doesn't want to be buried in his division, obviously, and then Can't Spell team without tight end. Obviously, you want to go 3-2 this week. You want to give yourself a chance to catch up. So also Richter Rocket may lose this week to a team that has no name, and if they do, then you have a chance to catch up there, and you've got the points for plus the points against modifier. For the end of season, you've got the breaker on them currently because you're scoring a lot more points per week. So this could be an interesting matchup. I bet Dak will be better this week than he was last week. I don't think he's going to be that bad again, probably the rest of the season. We'll have to see how, interesting running back situation here in this matchup. And man, I guess we're just rolling with Jordan Howard on this team each week. So it worked out last week. We'll see what happens this week. And some good defenses here. These are two of the better defenses in the league going to be facing off, and they both have really weak opponents. So this could be a defensive fest over here for Mike Vick and team without tight end. So should be interesting, and I look forward to seeing what happens. I'm excited about how the divisions are shaking out, and it's always fun to see how fantasy is so much different than you think it's going to be every season, and how you can never truly predict exactly what's going to be happening. If you would have told me that in one of my leagues I'd be dropping O.J. Howard to pick up Gardner Minshew this week, I don't know what I would have done. I thought O.J. Howard's going to be awesome this season. I thought a lot of things about a lot of players, and some of them have been great, and some of them have not panned out. So yeah, should be interesting to see where we go from here, though. And I'm thinking after this week we're going to have a really good idea of how the season's going to, shake out. Particularly, one of us is going to be in position. So like if I win right here against Watson, I think it's going to be a little bit hard for him to crawl out of the spot that he's in, even though his team's very good, I think. If I don't win, I think that I'm going to be in a little bit scary shape, and I'm going to be hoping that Dylan Panthers and Out of Luck beat Money Schmakers and Papa Giorgio if I lose, especially. And I'm sure he's got the same feelings, as those divisions are clashing this week, those Stable of Axe and Cannons for Arms divisions. And then in the other ones, same situation, right? You've got a lot of teams facing off between those divisions, and everybody's hoping that the divisional opponents from those other teams will beat their divisional opponents, right? So that they can kind of move up in the divisions. But again, real quick, our division leaders, we got Fun, but who needs it? We've still got Out of Luck leading the that first division there, and then we've got Team Has No Name and Richter Rocket, and they are facing off this week. So this could be really interesting here in the divisional leaders game. We had one last week with Fun's Fun, but Who Needs It and Out of Luck, and it was a close game, even though it took a little while to get that way. So this one here should be interesting, and I'm thinking I'm probably going to pick Team Has No Name. I just think her team's super strong, but Richter Rocket's been winning a lot of games, and Russell Wilson's been surprising people this season, going off for 41 points one time, I think. To check his stat in this particular league. Let's see what he went off for. Yeah, 41 points in this league, so he's pretty nasty. And that was against the Saints, who supposedly are good against the QB, and they're especially good against the run, actually. So maybe that's the situation. But I'm sure he ran in that game, right? Like, he had to have run if he got like 1 million points like that, right? 51 rushing yards. All right. Anyways, see you guys next week, and good luck in the weeks to come.